Difficult job market.
A tough job market.
New grads are facing a challenging job market.
The job market is slamming shut on the class of 2026.
College graduates are facing one of the most challenging markets for entry-level jobs in a decade.
You probably know this, but the job market sucks. No one can find an entry-level job anymore, especially college graduates. Lucky for you, I know the secret sauce: internships. In fact, students with internship experience before they graduate have a 5 times higher chance of getting a job right after college than those who don't. But then that just begs the question, how do you get an internship? Lucky for you, I have 5 tips on how to get internships while in college. And the last tip got me an internship at NASA this fall. So let me share the tips with you. Each one helped me in a specific time in my life, in my engineering journey, and brought me to the next level. Going into my senior year of high school, I really didn't have any experience whatsoever. I went to class, I did my work, I left, I went home, played video games. But as I started getting closer to college, I really didn't know what an engineer actually did. So that comes down to my first point: clubs and experiences. I joined my first robotics club in high school, and I started learning a little bit more about what engineers actually do. They design, they model, they create. They take science and what they learned in school and apply it to the real world in cool and interesting ways. What I recommend is to join clubs that interest you, such as Formula 1, SAE, or Robotics Club, an electronics club, or maybe just even a science club. That way you can explore your interests. I wasn't good right away either, but the whole club is there to help you in your learning. You're not supposed to be able to make amazing stuff right away. So I learned how to work backwards from where I wanted to be to the steps I needed to make it. With all the clubs I joined in high school, I was able to put that on my resume for my college application, and that's how I got accepted to Iowa State at College of Engineering. Companies also love seeing clubs and your interests. In fact, I had 2 friends get aerospace offers in their freshman year at an aerospace company, all because they joined the rocketry club 2 weeks earlier. And here's the thing, they didn't even show up to the club after they got the internship. They just had to show that they were interested within like the first few weeks, and the recruiter hired them on the spot. Tip 2, use your resources. When you're in education like high school or college, you'll have so many opportunities and resources given to you. It kind of feels overwhelming sometimes. This can be using campus resources, asking peers and asking friends and asking professors for what you can do to get internships. Personally, in freshman year, I received an email about this class that helps with careers and career building. And it was one of those college spam emails that you always get and just throw away, but I decided to look into it more. And apparently that class was supposed to connect you with recruiters that actually go to the career fairs that hire students for internships. So as I took the class, I learned from career counselors who were on my side. And turns out one of the projects for that class was to get on a video call with a previous alumni who happened to be a recruiter for John Deere. And one of the projects for that class was to get in touch with an alumni and have a Zoom meeting. And it turned out that alumni was a recruiter for a major company. And apparently I made such a big impression that come career day, I walked up to his booth, said hi, and he remembered my name. And I didn't even talk that much about what I actually did. We just caught up on things I've been doing this semester, clubs I've been joining, projects I've been working on. And he ended up greenlighting my resume on the spot. So that's how I got my first internship in my freshman year of college. Advanced tip, learn the recruiters' names, even if it's passing or you just look them up. Because these recruiters have a lot of people to remember. So they don't remember each and every person who they talk to. But by learning their names, you'll plant a seed in their mind about who is this kid? I should get to know his name. And that reciprocity builds rapport, and they're more likely to talk to you and give you a chance in the future. Step 3 is know your strengths. I want you to ask yourself a question. What advantage do you have over your competition? Because believe it or not, you're fighting for that internship spot. I want you to think about great players: Shaquille O'Neal, Mbappe, Stephen Curry. They all know their advantages and disadvantages, and they play to their advantages. Did you know Shaquille O'Neal only made 1 3-pointer in his whole career? All of his other points came from towering over his opponents and dunking. If Shaquille O'Neal tried to play like Stephen Curry, he wouldn't be as legendary as he was. Same thing with Stephen Curry. Compared to the rest of the NBA, he's pretty short. So it would be impossible to play in the paint. So what did he do? He spammed 3-pointers. He played to his strengths. Being well-rounded is good to an extent, but you gotta specialize in some aspect where you're undeniable. For me, that was my projects and passion for these projects. Every time I get back to the dorm, I'd be working on a new coding project or a new 3D print that I wanted to use to impress people or impress recruiters or just my friends. This was my hook. So my second interview was with an aerospace company. And I was really nervous, but as soon as the recruiter got me talking about my projects, I was able to yap his ear off, and I could tell he could feel my energy and how passionate I was about these projects. I started talking about how I was able to code my credit card to take you to my website if I tapped on your phone. I was also able to show him the research I did on airfoils and plane wings and how that could be useful in his company. And I talked about how I would design games on the side every few months. I became this candidate they were interested to learn more about and see my potential and where I grew in the company. So that's how I got my second internship. This fourth tip is how I got my internship at NASA. And that is projects. Projects, projects, projects. This is the one I'll live and die on. You go to college for the degree, but you do projects for the applications, the skills, the work ethic, and the fun. Projects apply everything from the past few skills. They build on your club experience, they require to use all the resources at your disposal, and they require you to play to your strengths and build something real.
Forgot to turn on the...
And companies can feel this. I joined this program at another college that worked directly with NASA. They took a bunch of college students from all over the US and got them together to plan a mission to Mars over the course of a semester. So of course I had to take it. And with that I learned so much about NASA and the projects associated with how they work. And that was a huge boost on my resume. Through that program, I was able to get access to a job board that hired NASA interns. And I applied on a whim, knowing that I probably wouldn't get in because there's hundreds of thousands of people who apply to NASA internships every year. But I crossed my fingers and I prayed. And a few months later, on an unsuspecting day, they didn't even interview me at all. Apparently they were really impressed with my resume and my projects. I didn't really have many impressive things on there. I built a drone once. I was the president of a club. That was really it. But apparently it was enough for them to be impressed with me, so I'll take the win. And this fifth tip is arguably the most important tip. It's doing what you love. This comes directly from my roommate in freshman year. He came in as an industrial engineer, full of optimism. But as the school year went on, he started to lose interest and started to realize that it wasn't his calling. But what he did know is he loved nature. Going on hikes, walking, camping. In fact, within the first few weeks of college, he totally skipped a week to just go camping out in Oregon. So, starting second semester, he made a decision to switch to animal sciences, which is really different than industrial engineering. We all thought he was pretty crazy. But within a semester, he turned it all around. This summer, he got an internship as a park ranger in South Dakota at Mount Rushmore State Park, with dreams to become a zoologist and help save animals. That's amazing. I don't say a lot, but I'm really proud of him. And here's a bonus tip that I will continue to use. Luck. Luck isn't just some four-leaf clover or a prayer you just send that you want something. I define luck is when opportunity meets preparation. So that means two things. Opportunity means putting yourself out there, going to clubs, meeting people, and letting them get to know you and your real self. And preparation, doing stuff in your own time so when that opportunity does come, you're ready. An example of preparation would be knowing what to say when recruiters ask you, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Or being able to discuss your projects to someone who's never heard of engineering at all. One thing I like to do before interviews is have a list of 4 projects that I can talk about for any kind of question that they ask. In conclusion, these 6 tips will help you get internships if you just apply them. Good luck interviewing, and hopefully you get an internship.